Motherfucker. What's up, guys? We're here. We're live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Life podcast. My name is Joe Ingram, aka Chicago Joey. Joined today by a man I like to call one of the legends of my former community, the small stakes, full ring, no limit hold'em community. This was a guy when I'd see him on the tables about, I don't even know. It's honestly, it's been years ago at this point, 7 years ago. I'd be like, I'm going to beat this motherfucker today. And the thing was, I wasn't going to beat him today. He had a graph on poker table ratings. For you guys who remember poker table ratings, his graph was like the Nanonoko. It did not go down. It just literally, I don't know if he had a losing day for like 5 years. And unfortunately, Black Friday hit him and he wasn't able to play poker online anymore.
I still play poker online.
On Poker Stars. But he's been out there in the world, man. He's a legend. He's
Thanks. I appreciate the intro, dude. It's humbling to be here, man. I'm really proud of you, dude. You know, like we've had some good moments along the years, and I've always rooted for you, man. I think you're such a good dude, and I'm super happy to see you sort of using all your gifts, man, because I think you have a lot of them. And I think,
Jesus,
I think the sky's the limit for you, man.
Take it easy, kid. Hey, whoa, take it easy. Puppy, man. What's up? All right, it's my boy Tyler Todd, a.k.a. T.Y. Romper. He went by on Poker Stars. He's joined me today on the podcast. I really wanted to have him on for a while now because I think he lives a fun life, man. He lives a great life. He does a lot of cool things, and I wanted to have him on. We talk about that, talk about the former days on Poker Stars, battling in the small stakes full range streets with the likes of Tim Stone, Vinny, Vici 9586, Jimbo. Who else is in there? Pawnee Lad. I'm trying to think of some other of the old legends that were Hodge. I mean, our boy Hodge was in the streets, man. Petty theft, man. There's some.
Jeez, man, you're taking me back. Yeah, you're taking me back. I remember all these days.
I'm trying to think of some of those. Who was that? Renworm, man. There was some.
Yeah,
there's some legends of the game. But guys, we are live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. Any comments, questions, leave them in the chat. Luke Schwartz, Full Flush, is going to be next Friday, guys. Not this Friday. If you can't read, I'm sorry. That's weird on you. Also, next Monday, our next podcast is going to be Jessica Dolly. And next week, we're going to have Mike McDonald Timex as well. Not sure which day. But all right, TY. The intro do you justice. How would you describe yourself in terms of your poker career in the online world here?
Yeah, man. I think first I think I was really fortunate to get into poker at the time I did, man. I mean, it was cake back when I was first starting, and then as it started to get a little bit harder and stuff before Black Friday, I think I worked my ass off and studied quite a bit. And my claim to fame was in 9 years as a pro, I had one losing month, and that month I spent 3 weeks in Italy. So it's like I didn't get to play, so I think that was kind of my claim to fame is I just didn't really have any variance. I avoided variance pretty well. And like you said in the intro, I just kind of had a graph that kind of shot straight up and made it stress-free, which was pretty cool. I think a lot of guys in poker don't get to experience
that, No shit, really?
I know I'm talking like that.
Wait a sec. You're telling me most people in poker don't get to experience never losing?
I mean, it's not like I didn't lose, but it's just...
let's not get carried away. You didn't lose.
I mean, yeah, I had a good run, I had a very good run. I guess I just had a good account. I chalk it up to like Tim Stone, man. I had a good account on Poker Stars, We avoided variance very well.
Well, I don't know if Tim Stone necessarily has a good account. He just plays in all the softest games with the fastest script. So, I mean, that's what poker's kind of turned into now, seat scripting, bum hunting, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it makes me sad to even see that, man. It's crazy. I'm so out of the loop now on Stars. I still read Tim Stone's blog every month and stuff, and so I kind of try and stay up on it as much as I can in hopes that it's going to be legal again. But I don't even know about the seat scripting and all that stuff anymore, man. It's sort of passed me by,
It's for the best. So, how active are you still in poker? I know you played some live poker here in Chirac over at the Horseshoe Casino for a little while. I know you're still battling the untracked Euro site streets right now, and the American sites and the untracked Euro sites. What's been your poker for these past couple of years now?
Yeah, man. Since Black Friday, the first year right after Black Friday hit, man, I decided to be a live pro, like I think a lot of the online grinders, man. And so I went out to Vegas that first World Series, and dude, I had great results after I spent 6 weeks there. But it's just dude, my personality doesn't really gel well with live poker, man. I'm like an all or nothing type person. I think you can relate to that a lot, man. And it's hard for me to it was hard for me to leave games, you know what I mean? It was hard for me not to just pop another Adderall or chug 4 more coffees. And dude, I got so, I don't know, I would try and set a schedule. I would try and be all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and set it. And then I would find myself Monday at 7 a.m., the fun player in the game all of a sudden wants to take it from 5:10 to 10:20. And now I can't leave, so I need to chug more coffees. And I just found myself so unhealthy. And so I could never really get a balance. And so my results were really good live, man. Hourly and stuff were really good. It's just, dude, I weighed 151 pounds when I decided to stop playing live poker. That's 21 pounds less than I am now. And I just couldn't ever figure out the balance between like health and like relationships and other things like that. So I sort of got to the point of I'm either going to win at poker and win more money, or I'm going to like win at life, you know? So I kind of chose like, all right, I'm just going to win at life and kind of make poker a more casual thing live. And I still grind online and love that, man. It's still like big time passion. You know, I love to do it, but I can't do it to the degree I did, obviously. But
I guess to give some people a little background about you. So you did do some personal training. Tyler is very fit. He used to play basketball back in the day, which he just told me after he challenged me to basketball. So I play basketball. He's like, why don't we play some basketball? And the last couple of people that watch the podcast are friends of mine that they say they want to play basketball. They're either really good or they're unaware that I'm good at basketball. And then Tyler's like, well, I did used to play back in the day. I was like, oh, fuck. I mean, I got a couple.
I didn't know you were 6'2", though. 6'2.5", man. That's hard to overcome because I'm only 5'11". So
6'2", more like 6'2", not 6'2.5".
You told me 6'2.5", man.
I'm not fucking tell you 6'2". You gotta show me the proof. I said 6'2.5". I said 6'2". I would never say 6'2.5".
I think you said 6'2.5".
That I'm close to 6'2", not 6'2.5". No. Let's not put that fear in your mind, kid. 6'6", about 6'2".
You're playing every day now, though, right? You're playing basketball like 5-6 days a week.
Like 4 or 5 days a week. My body enables me to play as much as I can. Then I'm playing. Yeah.
So you're in basketball shape. I'm in more like running shape and like lifting shape than like that. There's a difference, man. Basketball shape, like I don't play as much as I used to. So you'd have an edge if you gave me like 6 months to train.
What's going on here? This is a hustle? Are you hustling me right now?
No, I think if you gave me 6 months to train, I think I could do well, But I think you play every day.
Do well. Well, we'll be whenever this showdown happens, because Ty doesn't live too far from me. Actually, how far do you live, Tyler? You live from how far from Indiana, Chicago?
3 hours north of Chicago, or 3 hours south of Chicago.
Okay.
I'm actually bummed that you didn't play in my league, man. When I lived in the city for like 2 years and played in the league all the time. We were always looking for guys, man. I don't know why. We never played.
I think I just started playing. I started playing because I had a lot of free time in the suburbs and I had a girlfriend. So when you have a girlfriend, you have more free time. So I'm like, I'm bored. Well, I was addicted to NBA 2K on Xbox, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go try playing real basketball. Let's see if this translates over. And I started doing all the moves that I did in NBA 2K in real life, and it turns out they work when you practice them a lot. I have a good work ethic, so when you put the hours in practicing all these NBA 2K moves, they really translate well. So, and now I've just become addicted. Now I love it. Now I'm in.
That's your personality, man. I feel like we have very similar personalities, and like the times we chat, I sense that, man. You don't do anything like 90%,
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is I struggle a lot when I try to like do 10 different things, and like whenever I put 50% into poker or 50% into anything, I really struggle doing it, and I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to fix that in terms of being able to do things at a 40%, 50% and still progress, but it doesn't seem like I can do that quite well yet.
I'm with you on that struggle, man. Like life balance is tough, man. I think it's really tough for people like us, But
yeah, so I gave a little background for you because you play basketball. You're obviously a very athletic guy. So when you say you playing live poker like zapped this from you, like that's a pretty big thing. That's like I feel like being healthy and working out and like staying fit is like a big part of your life.
It is, man. I feel like I was just losing myself. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I was losing fitness wise. Like I've seen some really good like live poker pros that like kind of go along this term, and then I see them 5, 6, 7 years down the road, man. I don't even recognize them, And I sort of saw that happening to myself, like, dude, just chugging like 13 coffees in a night and staying up all day, and then you're like, you get home from a session, you order a pizza to reward yourself because you did good, and like I was falling under these habits all the time, and like relationships were bad. Like I was never really present, like because I was always sort of hazy from like those long sessions and stuff, and I would try and make myself cut off, but it's so hard live, man, because if a big game opens, like with a fun player, he might not come back for 2 months, And so it's, I don't know. I always found that struggle. It was a pretty tough struggle for me, I would say.
So you mentioned relationships. So I obviously, this is kind of interesting. When I have somebody come on that I know a lot about, I don't have to write anything down for this one. I got to be honest with you guys. I mean, I wrote a couple, I'm going to write much down for this one. So do you think so? Give me like a little time and we can talk about as much or as little as you want to talk about it. But did Black Friday, did poker have anything to do with, I guess, with the relationship, going through divorce or ending that? Did poker have something to do with that, or was that something that was totally separate from poker? Do you feel like?
I think it had a lot to do with it. I mean, I think it's funny, man, because if you'd asked me this question like 2.5 years ago, pre-meeting my wife now, I would have said it had like everything to do with it. But I guess now that I've sort of met Annie and she's, as cheesy as it sounds, dude, like, complete me, I'm just like sort of soulmate type girl that like I don't think I was ever with the right girl. I mean, I met I know Viffer stories are big on your podcast, and to be honest, I got married the first time. It's Viffer's fault. Like he was there on our first date, and he like introduced, like, sort of had a hand in this whole thing. So if that lets you know, like,
oh, this Viffer, I didn't think, I knew you told me you had a Viffer story. I didn't know Viffer worked into your.
A couple of Viffer stories, man. But yeah, I was in Vegas when I was like 21, and I just met this girl who ended up being my first wife. And like the first weekend I met her, we were hanging out with Viffer and a couple people from his crew, and he just takes us out to these clubs, and he's like, he had a $500,000 car, and he's like driving us all around. And so I think like this girl just got used to all that stuff and all that, and that was sort of like the premise of our relationship. We didn't have a great relationship. It was basically just like, I'll buy you this, you kind of be pretty here, and we'll, we weren't like best friends like my wife and I are now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's more of like for instance, we were still married, and I went out to Vegas for 6 weeks that summer, and she only came out twice, just like every few weekends. And like we would talk, but it wasn't like, I don't think she missed me that much. I don't think I missed her that much, So I think it's a good split,
Interesting. So I know I kind of expected you to say you were living in the city in Chicago for a while. I sort of expected you to live the Bachelor life for a little bit, but it didn't seem like it lasted that long with you, man. It seemed like you got wifed up pretty quick, man. Like you just hop back in there that fast. I was thinking, man, all right, like if I'm married, I'm putting myself in your shoes. If I'm married and I get a divorce, well, I'm staying single for 10 years, but.
That was the plan. To be honest, that was the plan, man. And I had a good run. I think you could talk to any of my single friends that I hung out with for a couple of years in Chicago. I had a very good run, man. It was the last time I saw you. This is funny because this takes me back. Like, I think I had been married for 3 weeks, and you came and hung out with me in the city. Johnster was there, Jor, all those guys were there. And I've been married 3 weeks, and you're like, Tyromper, we got to do something crazy, man. Let's go to Vegas, And dude, you're such a persuasive guy. Like, I'm almost, as I get a couple more drinks in me, I'm like contemplating going to Vegas. And I'm like, dude, I need to chill out, man. I've been married 3 weeks. I probably can't start it off this way, But like, you kind of got a taste that night, though. I remember like one of the first things you said is like, if I were single in the city, I would go nuts, man. Like, this would be bad for me too, And so
for sure.
I don't know, man. It was a fast couple years for me in the city. It was a good time, and I didn't want to get wifed up. But it's like, I sort of feel like you don't have a choice, man. Like, you meet that right person, you don't have a choice.
Okay, so I set this up because I'm going to tie it into poker. I'm tying this all back into poker. I'm not just asking this independently because I'm trying to, real world was there. What's up, Jordan? Jordan's in the chat today, man. What's up, Jordan? Actually, I forgot that I had met Jordan through you when I came down to meet you guys over in Wicker Park there, and. Jordan, obviously, he's a fucking great guy. He's an official doctor now. Is he an official doctor now, or is he still an aspiring doctor?
I think he's going to med school. But Jordan's like the kind of guy, man. He's a genius. He's like, one day I talked to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to med school. I got accepted to like this great med school." And then the next day, it's like, my company's sending me to London for a month. Like, they just sent him to London for a month to like train and move up that way. And I know he grinded some stars when he was out there, and he was giving me some good stories about it. But he's just, I don't know, he's a smart kid, man. He's gonna be successful in something.
My favorite part of joining Jordan is when he sends me bad beat stories from live poker. I'm just like, man, you gotta, it happens, bad beats, sort of how it goes, you gotta get, I don't know. I sort of gotten over the bad beat stories like 5 years ago, so I don't really I'm not really too much, but I understand a lot of poker players. They're very like, I lost aces, like, I understand that happens, but for me, I'm so used to PLO, like I lose aces like 10 times a fucking hour, so it's like, it's whenever I hear the stories now, I'm like.
You kind of listen to it on deaf ears, You just, oh, that sucks, man. There's stuff. I mean, how many millions of hands have you played now?
I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 million. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't keep. Let's see who we got in the chat here. We got David Wader in YouTube. What's up, David Puppy? Zesty Indigo says, looking slick, Puppy. Yo, much love, Puppy. Demon Hot Puppy. Hello from Serbia. What's up, Demon? Show of Force says, what's up, pretty boys? I think he's talking to you. I think he's talking to you, Tyler. What's up? Balky, maybe Viffer can hook you up with a wife, Puppy. I'm sure Viffer could. He might be like a spearmint rhino kind of woman, like a stripper or like one of those.
I think he's wifed up now. The last time I saw him was the summer of 2012, but I think like shortly after that, he got wifed up, and I think he's engaged now. That's what I heard.
Everyone's getting engaged and married, Ty. Everyone's getting engaged, man. I see Jordan on Facebook. I love you so much, baby. I see you in Africa holding a nice young black child with you and your wife, supporting the black child in love so much. I see a bunch of other people like, I hate my fucking spouse, so I'm not quite sure. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm at a conundrum. I want a child. You just had a child. Congratulations to you, Poppy.
Yeah, thank you.
So I kind of want a child, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Give me some feedback. What's life like as a newly married? I guess you're still technically newly married and with a child.
I've only been married like 13 months. I'll say it was completely blissful, man, until Tinley came along. And don't get me wrong, it's awesome. Being a dad's like the best thing. But dude, I mean, you just don't get as much sleep. You know, there's not as much time to do stuff. The first few months are pretty rough, and I'm in the middle of that right now. So it's I don't know, man. She's adorable. She's great, but it's tiring, dude. I'd say that much. But you'll fall hard, Joey. Don't worry, dude. Some little chico will snap you right up someday, man. You won't have a choice, dude. You'll know what I'm talking about then.
You know what? I think I told you this last time I saw you. I feel like I ran bad because hypothetically, if I was living in the city when you were living in the city, you know, I'd be married right now, you know? So I feel like I think I ran bad in some instances. I always say that, like,
one way or the other, either you'd be married too, or neither of us would be married, and we'd be like living with Tim Stone in Bangkok or wherever he's at right now, and just like, you know, doing something like that. I don't know. It'd be one of the two ways, man. It would have gone one way or the other.
I agree. I think like you know, when it comes to like my friends I've had a long time, like I've always had the more dorkier friends, like the guys who were like, you know, they were poker friends, but they weren't like the guys the big social guys who wanted to go out and meet a bunch of people. They're more like the kind of guys who want to sit at home, chill, and play poker. So I never really had like that big you know what I mean, that big like really social person as well, like me or even bigger than me, to go out with and have fun with, and also that played poker too. So, but also I guess there's not really many of those in poker.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, man. 90% of the people I've met through poker are pretty like engineer type people. You know what I mean? Just constantly grinding stats. And like, who was it, man? There was this one kid in the Bahamas when we were like 22 who legitimately, we were hanging out with him, and he went up to hit on a girl and he told her he was supernova, and like we were just like, all like, do that to your pickup line, you know? That's what's sad. Like, just that's like the mindset of a lot of the poker kids, you know?
Yeah, I guess that becomes more and more prevalent. Well, I don't know, I feel like live poker players are less like that, but they spend so much time playing live poker that they sort of pick up these sort of antisocial. I guess at the same time, you do have to be social to play live poker though. So maybe you know, poker players that are Americans these days aren't necessarily like that anymore. Whereas back in the day when online was a bigger thing, people did tend to be like that.
Yeah, it's true.
So, all right, let me go back to the point. Luke Schwartz is going to be on next Friday, guys. Come on. Honest to God, I put that on Facebook. I said next Friday. There's next Friday, guys.
Sorry to disappoint everyone with me this Friday. You know, people that are tuning in for Luke Schwartz.
Yeah, I know. They're
tuning off. They're like, I don't know who this is.
Nah, man, this is my boy Tyromper, man. He's a legend. He's a legend of the poker game right now. So you're still okay. So let me go back and tie the relationships to poker. So were you playing live poker during this mix? Do you feel like, obviously it's really hard to play live poker when you have a relationship? When you're single or when you're dating around, it's easy because you can go on those binges. You can play all night long. But when you're with somebody, you can't really do those things, especially if you want to spend time with them. So like, walk me through where, like when did how did that all work together?
Yeah, so I had, you know, when I got divorced, that was like right when I spent 2012. Basically, I played, I would say, anywhere from 14 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week during the series, the 6 weeks. And then I came back, we ended things, and then I moved to Chicago and was a bachelor. And so my plan was just to like go to the shoe 3-4 times a week and grind. Well, it was my first time living in a big city, first time single for a while. So as you can imagine, I kind of went nuts, you know, for a while. And I called myself a poker pro, but I was truthfully probably logging like 8 hours a week, maybe 8 hours every other week for a good like 6 months, you know, something like that. But then I sort of tried to get back on a schedule and sort of like would tell myself, all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to go in at noon, I'm going to leave at 10, you know, kind of thing. And it just still didn't work for me, man. Like, I don't know, the hourly wise, I was fine. I was making more than I'll probably end up making after I finish school and do whatever I'm going to do next. But I just felt like I couldn't win at anything else, man. Like I was either going to win at poker or I was going to like, you know, and when I met Annie like a year and a half later, I sort of saw some of those same patterns developing in myself, you know, where like, dude, I'd bring sessions home. I'd come home from live. I'd be trained, right, talking to me, dude. I can't even listen. You know what I mean? And she's saying important things and things that I really care about. But I'm so like, dude, I'm hopped up on 9 coffees and now I'm crashed. And I just, you know, like it's, so I kind of had to make that decision. I thought in my own head, like you were saying, you can't do 50%, you know? So I didn't want to be the guy who's just going to say, I'm a live pro and kind of go in and play 2 days a week and sort of have a shitty living, you know, a shitty life. I don't know. I don't like the casino. I don't like the live lifestyle that much to do that. So I kind of just made the decision like, okay, like I'm going to have to look at other avenues, And it was pretty scary at first, not going to lie, to sort of say, this is my identity, for 10 years. Like I'm a poker player, but now I don't really identify as a professional poker player. I'm kind of getting to that next phase, So I just not phased out of it, man. The last time I played live was this series. I went out for a week and just grinded like some 5-10 at Bellagio and Wynn and Aria and had fun and did okay. And but now I like drink a couple cocktails when I play and I don't take it super serious. It's more of a, like I'm still trying to win very much, but I'm not like pissed and, like going to chug 8 coffees if a fun player comes in and things like that,
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I know that you did a while where you were, I think you might be still personal training now, but you definitely did a time where was personal training your main source of income for a period of time?
No, dude, I always joke that like you can make dozens and dozens of dollars being a personal trainer because like I worked at the downtown gym in Chicago for like 7 months, maybe 9 months, something like that, at David Barton Gym. Freaking great gym, man. Anybody who lives in Chicago, if you want to get shredded, go to David Barton. That was the best shape I've ever been in. But dude, I mean, they billed me at $100 an hour, but the gym took $75 an hour. Then I had to pay taxes. Then I had to pay for my I was literally making like $16 an hour, and that's when I had clients, And when I didn't have clients, I wasn't making anything. So like, I think my paychecks were they were laughable, man. I was making $400 every other week or something training. So I was still playing online then a lot, like a really good amount, basically on Bovado, Black Chip, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even now, like at the end of the year, I'll probably have to file as a professional gambler because I'll make more online than I will at my other job. But like, I don't consider myself a professional poker player anymore, I guess,
Well, I did see your graph recently. You showed me it, and I got to tell you, it looks like you're a professional poker player kind of from the graph that goes straight up. Guys, there's no surprise. This graph still goes straight up. It's fucking sick. He sent me his graph the other day. It doesn't go down. It just goes up. He doesn't lose. I'm like,
that was just over the last couple of months, man. It's been it goes up and down still. The games are harder, man. I mean, I play on Black Chip now, and the games are guys at $50 like very competent now. It's all grinders. It's all guys that are, know pretty much.
What about Bovada, TY? You ever play on that site? Why don't you play more on that site? There's no fucking, there's grinders on that site, but.
You motivated me to play on there, man. Actually, the last 2 nights I've played on there, 1, 2, 6 max, 4 tables, and just done really well the last 2 nights. And so that's my plan now is to kind of run that up.
Listen, TY, you need a stake for 5, 10, or 10, 20 on Bovada. Let me know. Let me know, kid. I'm ready. Just let me know. Give me.
That's the problem is you can only deposit 800, man. I went to trying to deposit more, and I could only deposit 800 was the max.
That's 100% false, by the way.
Really?
Yes.
I try to use.
You can deposit 800 at one time. So there are other ways to put money on the site where you can deposit 800, then you put 800, and you put more on. Like they usually give you a limit. So last time I think that I put something, I was 1,500, and then I put 400 because I wanted to put 2K on, and then run the 2K up to $100,000. So that's what we're trying to do right now, but.
Yeah, what do you play on there? Are you playing all PLO, like 5, 10, 10, 20 PLO on there? Mm-hmm. Do you worry about collusion at all? Because I worry about collusion a little higher,
For sure. I think collusion on those sites, in any of the American sites, even some of the untracked Euro sites, even on Poker Stars, which I never really thought about much. Like I should have been worrying about collusion on there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know I'm breaking the fucking first rule. I agree. 7 nocturnity 7. I agree. I'm talking about seals with clubs, party poker, European, and come on. Obviously the untracked Euro sites, I'm talking about the sites that you can play from Europe as well too when I mention these untracked Euro sites. But of course you're worried about collusion on these sites. Even the seal site. Honestly, I think that a good way to approach playing higher stakes poker online these days is to go into it thinking about that could happen and sort of adjust your play style from there. So I'm not going to get into exactly what to look for in collusion online, and because I don't want to give people ideas that are looking for cheating, but especially on sites, the American sites, or any sites where there could be multiple skins that you can play on, different accounts, stuff like that. Yeah, it's always something to be worried about for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I've always kind of shied away. I always tell my wife, like, I don't consider that money mine until I get a check and put it in the bank, because like I could just wake up tomorrow and it's not there, So it's sort of like scared me to play even a little bit higher, because it like, do I really want to keep like 20, 30,000 on that site? Mm-hmm. It's scary to me. You just wake up one day and who do you call? If it's gone, it's gone.
You go in 2 + 2. You say in the NVG thread, lost 20K on Bovada, and that's it. You put your money, you put your name in line, and then that's it. This is a big reason why a lot of people feel like they attempt to play on Poker Stars from the United States, is because they, you obviously there's a risk if you're VPNing or if you're team viewing on PokerStars, there's a risk that your money gets confiscated. But at the same time, let's look at some people what they feel like their alternatives are. And obviously you can then say, oh, well, you should just leave the country. But at the same time, some people feel like they don't have that option, or they just don't want to do that, or they can't do that. Their life's here. They don't want to leave their life. Their life can't take them to Canada or take them to Mexico. So, you know, you take a risk. Like, do you want to keep this amount of money on Bovada? Do you want to keep this amount of money on you know, the Winning Poker Network? Do you want to keep this amount of money on other Euro sites? Like, it's sort of like pick your poison these days. And especially once you get money stolen from On Game or from the cart merge or lock or any of these things like that. Well, now, you know, okay, I got my money stolen once or twice. Like, you know, and then you end up like you're sort of like, you know, really hesitant to play online.
And I mean, another factor, dude, is like, well, for instance, we got back, my wife and I, we spent 6 weeks in Africa, and then we came back in January, and I was so motivated to play like this January that I just said, okay, like I'm going to put in a lot of work. You know, I actually played my first week back. I played 86,000 hands at No Limit and like 8,000 or 9,000 hands at PLO the first week, and I had really good results. And then I get to the point, the site I was playing was Sportsbook, and so I cash out the max. And 15, 16 weeks later, dude, I get my first check, and I'm emailing him all the time. I'm calling, and I can't get a check, and so I'm still waiting on my second check from there. And so now I just have no motivation to play on that site because, dude, I'm 3 checks away from even, you know, which could be, dude, that could be a year, you know? And so I think that's a big problem too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's, you know, some people might say from that standpoint, well, find something else to do, dude. Don't fucking play online poker like that. If you can't play, you know, if you have to worry about this, or you can't play legally, or you can't do this, like, don't play. But at the same time, it's like when that's all your life, or if that's the way you've made a living for your life, or that's how you make a living to make money, well, some people might say, well, you know, like sometimes, you know, what are you going to do in that standpoint? So I guess what have you chosen to do in that standpoint? So I mean, obviously poker isn't, you're still making enough money from poker to support yourself, but if you couldn't do that, do you feel like you could still have a job where you might be able to do as well right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm back in school full time. I actually made that decision, and that was a tough decision, man, because I hated school, to be honest. And I come from, dude, my wife, you know, I was a college dropout, and my wife has her PhD. So it's like, you know, it was intimidating for me to even start back to school, because it's like, it's sort of embarrassing almost, you know, to have to like sort of be vulnerable in front of her and things like that. But now I'm back full time, and I've talked with you a lot about some of my classes, man, who like, I like them, you know, I've actually enjoyed them. I've made the dean's list since I've been back. I've gotten straight A's almost every semester, you know, and this is my last full-time semester. And then I have a couple night classes next time, and I'm done, you know? And so then I'm kind of seeing myself getting a job, you know, like doing a job. It's still playing poker as much as I can. And the thing is, man, I enjoy poker. I do. I enjoy studying poker, you know? I mean, if my, I think my laptop is a little bit slanted right now, and that's because of Phil Galfond. You know, I was watching a Run It Once video, and I fell asleep, and it fell on the ground a couple nights ago. Like I'd rather watch Run It Once videos and study poker than like watch Netflix. You know, it's what I've always liked to do. I enjoy it so much, and so even if like I knew I couldn't get the money, I'd still probably play. Like that doesn't make much sense, but I just enjoy it. It's one of my favorite hobbies. You know, I think it'll be that way for a while.
Someone in the chat made a good point, but I just can't avoid talking about it sometimes, you know? Okay, so back to that. So you said that your wife has a PhD. We talked about this a bit before, and you don't have, you didn't really go, like, you don't have any like college education there. So how much do you think that matters from that standpoint? I mean, how much do you think that matters to, I guess, people like family members, or when they, I feel like when they meet you though, like you can sort of like, you're the kind of guy to be good at anything you did. You just happen to choose poker, and poker didn't necessarily need school. Like, so it's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think some people that don't have the college education, you might meet them and you're like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But I think people will probably meet you and they're okay. Well, things happen. Like it's the 21st century. People take alternate routes these days. Not everybody goes to school and does this, does that. Like it used to be. Now you can make a living and still do well for yourself by taking alternate routes.
Definitely, man. And I mean, I look at a lot of my friends who are really successful, man. I look at, you know, one of my best buddies, Josh, who lives here in town. I mean, he nearly got a perfect on his LSAT, and then went to law school, and he doesn't practice law. He just started an LSAT site where he just teaches people how to take the LSAT test, you know, and like he works from home. And I look at a lot of my friends that have kind of taken that career path, and I don't know, man. I don't think it's the traditional way of like 10, 15 years ago. I don't see a lot of people doing that and being super happy, you know? So I don't know. I don't feel ashamed about it at all. I mean, I will say this, like, I asked Annie's dad if I could marry her. and this is brutal, man. The first thing he said was, he goes, I know you're some kind of card player. Do you make money at that? And like, that's such an awkward spot, man, because
yeah,
what do I say there, man? Do I tell him like, well, actually, you know, I made 7 figures doing it, you know, or like, you know, it's like, how do I really say that? You know, you don't want to sit there and sort of toot your own horn, but at the same time, you don't want to be like, I don't know. I felt like a bum because her dad's a neurologist, like one of the most respected doctors in the world. He does like research all over, and you know, so it's a really intimidating thing, you know. And so Annie, to her credit, man, she's never made me feel bad about it at all. You know, she's encouraged me through school, and like, I mean, I've never felt like intimidated by her. You know, she's the smartest person I've ever met, and that's awesome. And I can use her as a resource, which is great. You know, she's also happens to be my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's never made me feel like bad about it. You know.
What did you answer the dad when you said that?
I mean, then the dad said something like, if you're good at, I told him I had always been very good at math and that I just found poker in college and kind of ran with it. And I happened to be very good at it and I enjoyed doing it, you know? And he said, well, if you're good at math, why don't you do finance? And I said, because I've played 12 million hands of poker and I know what I'm doing and I don't know anything about finance, you know? And so I don't know. And then after like a couple minutes, he was really cool about it and just said, you know, well, you guys love each other and it's obvious. So, you know, good luck, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was pretty awkward there for a couple minutes.
Let's give a shout out to the dad. Do you guys spend much time as a married couple? Do you spend much time with your family or with her family at all?
I mean, that's a big part of the reason we moved back down here, man. We knew we were going to have kids. Her family lives like 20 minutes in one direction. My family lives 20 minutes in the next. And so her dad's really busy still. He retired. And now that he's retired, he probably works 40 hours a week. So we see her mom a lot. And we see my parents a good amount. In fact, my parents are coming over here in like a half an hour to pick up my kid and take her down to Farmersville, so me and Annie can have a little date night tonight, which would be kind of nice. You know?
Oh, a little date night. What's the plan, kid? What are you guys cooking? A little dinner? Going to see the Maze Runner out? What's like a date night in the Tyromper life?
I think we're gonna take our kayak out on the lake for a little bit, do a little kayaking, maybe take a little walk, and then probably just catch up, man. To be honest, it sounds lame, but I have a little homework to do. She has a little work to do for her nonprofit. Shout out to Give Hope, Fight Poverty. If any of you poker players are looking to get involved in a charity, grassroots Give Hope, Fight Poverty, man, great charity to support. But yeah, she'll probably do a little work. I'll do a little work, and then we'll probably connect a little bit later after that. You know.
So Give Hope, Fight Poverty. That was the name of it.
Give Hope, Fight Poverty. Yeah.
Tell me more about this. What's this all about?
Man, that's how I met her. I met her at a charity function in Chicago. I mean, my wife's amazing, man. She was getting her PhD and she took a grad school trip to Swaziland, South Africa, and she just ended up meeting a few kids there, man. And like, these kids, dude, are like, I mean, they just have nothing. It doesn't do it justice for me to describe it, you know. But she basically just fell in love with a few of these kids, man, and like, they wanted to go to school so bad, but they were orphaned and they didn't have school fees, and so she just started raising money like on her own to pay their school fees, and then she had a couple kids in her network and then a few more. And dude, it's ballooned now that she's actually built her own school. She's built several houses for orphans. She has about 1,600 or so in her network. She's going like 6-7 times a year, and her partner goes. And so we spent like 6 weeks there at the end of last year, which was amazing, man. It's the best time of my life, to be honest. Just a great time. You should come on a trip with us, man. You would absolutely love it, man. You would. I'm telling you, it would change your life, man. It's hard to come back from something like that and be the same person, you know?
How long a trip we talking, TY?
Usually trips are 10 days, man.
Oh, I'm in for 10 days. When's the next trip? When's the next opportunity? I'm
going again in next May. I'm not sure if there's a spot open. I'll find out for you though, man. We should put together like a podcast trip, dude. Like a little, just a guys. My wife's always saying she would love for like guys to go, because over there, like, I don't know, man. The kids look up to guys so much, man. And I always have all these little kids hanging all over me. I'm always playing soccer with them, throwing them all around. It's super fun, man. I've made some of the best friends of my life over there, dude. You would be a huge hit, man. You'd be a huge hit. I played basketball with them over there too, so you would have that.
If I'm gonna beat them kids down in basketball, I'm not taking it easy on them.
I didn't take it easy on them, man. Of course not. You know, you got to go to win.
No, okay. Let me know about the spot. If there's a spot, put me down now. I'm 100% in. I'm in. I'm just in. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to. Don't ask me again. I'm in. Just put me down.
This is how I almost went to Vegas with you 3 weeks after being married, man. Because that's how you are, man. You're just a get it done kind of person, man. I like that.
You know, I've done some really random shit like on sporadically. So I just, you know, I'm sure Jordan will probably be in. I'm sure Would John still go too?
Yeah, Steve. I mean, Steve's got a little kid now too. I don't know, man. They're talking about having like 10 kids in their family, but yeah, he's always talked about going. Jordan and his girlfriend are actually fiance now. Sorry, Jordan. Sorry, fiance. They are 100% going to make a trip. And then my buddy Cody, shout out to Cody, dude. He's a huge podcast listener. He lives in Vegas. He's talked about putting a couple kids together to go on a group too, a couple guys together going on a trip too. So we could just take a whole group over there, man. Teach the kids about GTO. We could teach them a lot of stuff. It'd be fun.
We could definitely record some podcasts. I'm sure they got good internet there. We can do a little live stream with the webcam.
Yeah, the internet is pretty brutal, man.
We might actually have to record. We can record this one. We can record a couple of videos, record a couple of podcasts out there.
It's dial-up internet, and you pay by the minute, so it's pretty brutal internet, man.
Not gonna be able to. Yeah, we're gonna record on the GoPro then, or set the camera up. I mean, it's like a safe place there to be. What's the risk like there?
100% safe, man. It's landlocked in southern Africa, so dude, the big thing was like when what was going around the freaking disease last year or whatever. We were like 6,000 miles from that. There's no like terrorist act. We wouldn't go if it wasn't safe. You know what I mean? We fly into Joburg. We usually spend one night in Joburg, and then it's a 5-hour drive down to Swaziland. As an added bonus, man, you get to take a safari. I've been like 3 feet from actual real lions and stuff, man, which is pretty cool.
Listen, I've been watching some YouTube videos where the lions attack.
Yeah,
like attack you while you're in the car. They're like, scrolling on the car. I'm like, whoa, fuck that. I'm out. Like there's like an elephant charging at the window. I don't know,
Yeah, we can skip the safari. To be honest, at this point now, when I go with my wife, we skip the safari day. We just go play with the kids more, because I enjoy that a lot more. So
yeah. Someone in chat said, "Poppy pulverizes poverty." It's like, that definitely could. What are we talking about? What are we talking about Nap Daddy for, man? Nap Daddy's a GTO listener. Hold on, let me refix this here. All right, let me take a couple comments here. Show some love to some people in the chat. We got my boy 7 Nocturnity 7 providing some good comments. Vessi19, what's up, Poppy? The website is the letter I fightpoverty.org. If anyone wants to get involved, let me check this out here, man. Let me check this out. Contact us. That's nice, man. So your wife started this all?
Yeah, man. She just started as a grad student, but it started out like,
that's crazy.
I know, man. It's like she's incredible, man. She's the most incredible person I've ever met, and she just has such a heart for people, man. She's like the kindest person I've ever met, and just I don't know, man. It's just she just fell in love with a few kids over there, and then it snowballed. And like, dude, if I were to tell you some of the stories about some of these kids over there, dude, you talk about like inspiring, man. It's incredible, dude. Like some of the kids I've got to meet over there, and I can't even call some of them kids now because some of them are like college students now, which is
wow. Well, give us one story. Give us something, man.
All right, my really good buddy Lungello is his name. And dude, he grew up without a mom. A lot of the kids are orphaned over there. So the average life expectancy was 31 years old, maybe 32, something like that. HIV is very rampant. So he didn't have a mom, and his father was an alcoholic, and he had the house he lived in was like a mud hut, basically, and he would actually walk to school every day, which was like 2 miles away, and sit outside the classroom just to try and hear what the teachers were saying, just to try and learn anything that he could. He's a really smart kid, but it's $450 US to go to school there, and he just didn't have the fees. He couldn't go, And so when Annie started sponsoring him, he was in 6th grade, maybe 7th grade. Well, right away, man, he's just the hardest worker you've ever met, dude. He becomes first in his class. He gets not a full ride, but he gets into the University of Swaziland, which is like the only university or the most prestigious university there, which is unheard of for like rural kids. He kind of lives in like what we would think of as like the bush, you know what I mean, in South Africa. And so now, dude, he's in his 2nd year of school, and he sends these amazing notes to Annie all the time that will be like, I cannot wait until I graduate and start making money so I can change other people's lives the way you changed mine, and like, he's such a good kid. He's one of the kids I played basketball with, he's actually a really good volleyball player. That's his sport, but
wow,
he's such a good kid, man. And like, I don't know, you meet these kids and you hear their stories, and it's really inspiring, man.
Wow. So as a person over there, I'm guessing you want to help everyone you meet. You want to help all the kids you meet. Everyone has a story that's probably, in a similar type of way. Can you not help everyone? Like, how does that work from your standpoint when you're over there?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of Annie. It's her organization. I try and help out wherever I can, obviously. But basically, her mission statement is orphaned or orphan vulnerable children. So she primarily works with orphans. A lot of double orphans who've lost both of their parents, and now they're over there. It's what's called squatter's law in Swaziland. And so if their parents die at 8 years old and they live in like a little hut, the kid is now either he goes to an orphanage, which is subhuman standards almost, or he stays in that hut by himself at 8 years old, and he's now like the man of the house, or she's the man of the house, you know. And so Annie's provides, she's just like a holistic approach to it, man. She pays their school fees. We deliver food every 3 months, I think. It's like $50. $50 feeds a family of 4 for 3 months, which is why I always tell people who like want to donate, like if you can just donate $50, like think about how many times you spend $50 at one meal, you know. And if you can, $50 like will provide food for a family of 4 for 3 months, you know. And so we deliver food to them every few months, solar lighting, just everything that they need to be successful in school. But her primary focus is education, because it's like, to break some of the cycles over there, man, you have to get a degree, you have to like kind of gain skills and knowledge. And it's awesome, man, because before she started, these kids had no chance, and now she has 5 kids in university over there type programs who are just going to be super successful. And like, you know, it's like changing generations over there, man. So it's really cool. It's exciting to see, you know?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in that, on the site here, ifightpoverty.org, there's a couple different options to donate. It looks like you can use PayPal, or you can mail a check, or PayPal. Yeah, you got both options here, it looks like. I'm gonna throw a little donation over here right now. So $50 really it sponsors people for.
That's what hit me the most, man. My first trip over there, you know, we were delivering all this food. It's like 50-pound bags of rice, and we're like delivering it to their home and stuff. And I said to Annie, like, this must be a ton of money, you know, like how much is this? And she was like, it was $50, and that will feed them for 3 months. It's like rice, beans, soup, it's just very bare necessity type stuff. But obviously, if you're hungry, that's great, you know. And so, yeah, for $50, it feeds a family of 4. That was always the thing. And so that just made me feel super guilty. And that was, I don't know, man, part of my sort of transition. I don't want to say out of live poker, but it was just hard for me to be like live a casino type lifestyle after spending so much time there too. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but like it totally changed me. And when I made the decision to go away from live poker, that was probably a little factor too, of like, I want to win at all these other areas of life and not just poker anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. I think that those trips that I took over there had a lot to do with that, you know?
It's awesome. Well, I threw a little $50 donation in here. I'm trying to feed some kids for 3 months here, man. I think
I like that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I think that's awesome, man. Let me read a couple. Seven Nocturnity said charity streams have been reasonably successful with the Twitch donation button. Would make a great podcast stream. Maybe we can figure something out for that, man. Maybe we can do a little stream together in person, because we're not that far. We can do a little stream together for the charity, man.
Dude, that would be incredible, man. Yeah, I'd love, like, I can talk about it kind of secondhand, and I've spent, I think, 8 or 9 weeks over there now total. I've been on 3 trips, but I mean, Annie has literally spent, I mean, she lived there for 6 months when she was starting this organization, and she's been 50 times, you know, and so she knows all of these kids personally, and she's there every day. And so like, she can speak on it way better than I can, but like, you know, I'm to be honest, pretty humbled just to get the chance to like sort of get to help when I do, you know what I mean?
So how did you guys meet? You're at this charity event in Chicago. Like, I mean, you know, a guy like you, obviously, you know, fit guy, you know, got the smile, you got the hair, you got the manicured eyebrows over there. What happened, man? How did it work, man?
So it started out, man. Okay, and actually, dude, this is hilarious because it started out at the Horseshoe, man. So I was playing 510 at the Horseshoe, and you know Sean, he's Borton Border. Borton Border was his name.
Of course, I know Birdman. Another legend of the small stakes full ring world. Burton Border, yeah. Man.
Great guy, man. He was grinding 510 at the shoe at the same time I was, and we were both kind of, I felt like transitioning out of live poker at the same time. We would show up at the shoe and kind of complain about like, it's awful, these same conversations, the smoke is killing me, like just all this stuff, you know? And so one day we're just kind of bored and we start having a few drinks, and then he was small blind, I was big blind. And so we just made the idea that every time it folded to us, we would flip for 500, but like whoever won or whatever and actually lost for the 500 had to donate the 500 to charity. And so as we did this the whole day or whatever, it turned out I ended up, we had like maybe 7 and I lost 4-3 or whatever. So I had to donate 500 to charity, right? So then I had to like pick a charity, and the thing was I had to like tell him about it later. So I had my good buddy Josh, who lived in the city too, and he was like, well, dude, I know this great charity, you know, Give Hope Fight Poverty, Annie LB, like, you know. And so I Google it, and first of all, I see her picture on the front, and I'm like, you know, that's a good charity, man. You know, it's a good looking girl, you know. So I start reading her blogs, man, and dude, it was just, I couldn't put it down, man. She has like 7 years worth of blogs of just being over there and like experiencing all that she's experienced, and I don't know, man. I felt something in me that was just is different than like I could really explain, man. So that's where I sent my donation. And once I sent it, you know, we had a lot of mutual friends. Annie and I. She went to high school where I like 5 blocks from where I went to high school here in Springfield. And so we know like 100 of the same people we've just never met, probably because I was out partying and she was in studying, you know, when we were around that time. But yeah, so I sent the donation, and then I just got like a personalized letter from her thanking me for it. And then I kind of just hit her up on Facebook one day and told her I wanted to know more about it. I knew she was coming to Chicago, and so I asked her if she would like just go to lunch with me before the charity event, you know. So we went to lunch, and you know, I got to pick her brain a little bit. I signed up for a trip like a couple months later, and before the trip we were like officially dating, you know. And so kind of the rest is history, man. It happened really quick, but
So you're telling me it all goes back to live poker at the Horseshoe, huh?
Exactly, man. If I hadn't lost those flips to Borton Border, you know, I don't know if I would have had the end to even you know, like reach out to her. So that was a big thing, man.
Boke says on Twitch, if she was ugly, he wouldn't have donated.
That's not true. I mean, I don't think that's true. I would have found another charity. You know.
You know. So, okay. Okay, it might be true. Epicurus on YouTube says this podcast is pretty awesome so far. Zesty Indigo says I'm enjoying it too. Thank you guys. Much love. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the guest today. Obviously, you know, T.Y. Tyler, he's not like a known guy in terms of the NVG or even on Twitch. He's not streaming on Twitch tournaments every day. I'm going to fold 7-10 offsuit here. Like, you know, he's not out there. So, you know, you might not know him, but I like to have people on here who I think are awesome, who I think you guys will really enjoy.
Thanks, man.
And I knew Tyler. I mean, I've asked you to come on before. I didn't push you hard enough though. I knew I had to, like, because you know, I don't know if you just, you know, it's like we have some of the guests on here. You might not feel like, I don't know, you don't want to come on or something like that, because some of the guests I have on here are.
That's the thing, man. It's intimidating. You get such a great stream of guests now, man. It's like Daniel Negreanu. I mean, Lex. Like I look up to like Lex. I've gotten to hang out with a lot, like maybe 7-8 years ago. I haven't talked to him since then, but that was a guy I like legitimately looked up to in poker, and like I was afraid of him, you know, for a while in the no limit games. He was crazy, but he always had it. Like, just a really good player. And like a lot of these guys you have on, man, are like, I looked up to them, you know what I mean? And like I don't really see myself in the poker world as like a known guy at all anymore. I mean, I think back in the day, like, yeah, you know, right before Black Friday, I was charging $575 an hour to coach, you know, and things like that. So I think I was decently well known back in the day. But that was what, like 3 years ago now. It's a long time ago, you know. Lots happened.
Well, whenever I mention the name, that a lot of the old school people were like, "Oh shit, man, Tyromper, man." Like I had Max Steinberg on a couple. I think he was on Wednesday, and I mentioned his name to you. He's like, "Oh man, I'm Tyromper." So
yeah.
So a lot of people that have been playing from back in the day, they you know, they've either say your name or they see you in Vegas, or they, you know, I think they've come across you. But a lot of the new cats in poker, you know, the new whether they're new poker fans and stuff like that, they might not.
Yeah.
You know, but we got to educate them, man. We got to educate these new people in poker. There's a lot of new fans in poker.
Here's the hoping, man, that like the laws change and the land of the free becomes the land of the free again soon, and Poker Stars becomes legal, and I'll get known again, man, because I'm itching to get back on, man. I'd say I still spend a decent amount of time studying before I go to bed a lot of nights. I mean, I still study hands poker. I'm still pretty serious about it, and sort of the hopes that that'll come back again, man. I would love that. So, you know, I never in a million years thought it would be 3.5 years later and it still wouldn't be back, you know. I thought it was going to be a year tops, maybe 2, but I don't know. Just Tim Stone, you better know that if it does come back, your win rate's going to go down a little bit, man, because I'm going to be back in all those games.
Are you coming for Tim Stone?
I respect Tim Stone a lot, man. I liked him. He's I think our games are very similar. They always were anyway, and I love to see him still winning, man. I read his blog every month. Like I'm a Tim Stone fan, man. I think he's a good dude.
Poker can change your life.
Yeah, you know.
According to Tim Stone. Let's I'm gonna find a thread in 2+2 and small stakes 4 ring. God, we used to have so many epic threads in 2+2 small stakes 4 ring, man. God, let me go find this one. We're gonna play some word association with some old regulars here, okay? Hold on a second. Let me find the SS4 ring. God, I can't believe I made this thread. I made a thread. Let us remember our fallen small stakes 4 ring warriors. Name drop time. I made this thread in 2010. I mean, it's so crazy. I made this thread in 2010. I said, let's give some of our old friends, enemies, their proper send-off. Maybe one day we will see them again at small stakes 4 ring. I don't know if we're going to see these guys again. Let me just name some names. For all you that don't know, this is going to be old school names. These are old school names right here. All right, you pay for college. What do you remember about you pay for college out there, Ty?
Honestly, kid, I'm such an Avatar guy. What was his avatar, man?
He had the guy drinking the beer. He was a 50-cent dollar player. It was like the guy from, what was the guy, John Belushi or something like that. Where like
Maybe remembering. I didn't go down a 50-cent dollar too much, man. I really didn't. I was 1-2 most of the time. I don't think I played like 6 max 50-cent dollar, but not full ring much. And I played the ante tables sometimes, but I don't.
Let me scroll down. I think these guys are a lot of. There's like a Biza 007, Vinny Pooh, I Love Rags, Lejeune, Your Suspect, Fear Fact. God damn, these are some fucking.
I love Rags, man. He paid for college. He was one of my winningest players on poker table ratings. I remember.
I think I Love Rags actually tried to pull the robber on this girl I was dating at the time out in Vegas one summer. I think he tried to pull a little robber, and in retrospect, that was probably a good thing if he would have took the robber on me there. But and maybe he did. I don't even know. Like, I don't. I just associate him with that man. Ace Bong. Oh my God, man. XT Jax XX.
I remember him. Yeah, I remember him.
Holy shit. WCG player. He was around for a little bit. Jimbo Martin K. 1979. Mr. Blitzkrieg.
Yeah, he had the Buffalo Bills emblem. I remember.
Did he?
I think so. Maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. I can honestly, like, the first thing that I think of when you say some of these names is like specific hands, to be honest, which is crazy. It's like 5 years ago, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, it like takes me back to like oh, Blitzkrieg. I remember like flatting him with queens and like flopping the nuts and him cursing me out. Like, you know, like, I can almost picture that hand back again, you know, from 5 years ago.
UConn Sports 1. Joey Joe Jr. I remember him too. Oh my God, that was insane. Wow, there's some really. Wow, man. I'm trying to find some guys that mainly played 1-2 in this chat, man. Oh my God.
So is Tim Stone still doing it? Because like I don't get to get on PokerStars anymore. I mean, I read his blog, but he's still doing the same thing, full range.
The only thing I know about Tim Stone is the hands he posts and the graphs he posts.
Yeah, the hands are funny, man. The hands are always funny, but that makes me really want to play PokerStars. Like I'll see 3 of Tim Stone's posts from the day where like guys are spewing off with nothing, and I'll like nudge my wife and like we're moving to Canada tomorrow, you know.
You gotta understand, he also got the fastest seat script in the world. He's actively only bum hunting. He's probably got a very good effective bum hunting strategy down. So you might not be in these games with the Jesus seat on these fun players like he is.
Man, that's sad to me, man. Are they gonna ban the scripts, or is that here to stay?
It does not look like they're going anywhere away anytime soon. I don't exactly know how prevalent they are in the full range community or 6max community at No Limit. I'm pretty sure that everyone probably has a script. There are probably 1 or 2 people with the fastest script. Maybe Tim Stone's got the fastest one.
This might sound like a dumb question, but how do you get the fastest script? Like, what do you have to do to get that? You know?
I'm not sure. That's a question for Tim Stone. I don't think he's going to answer that question. I'm not sure if it's the developer develops the fastest one, if being certain close to the server. I don't exactly know how it works. So.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, believe me, it's there's some people at PLO that have them too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the game. That's why, like, maybe I don't know, man. I mean, I trust myself that like if PokerStars came back, I could still do well. But maybe like the game's just passed me by. I don't know yet. I don't know, man. I mean, I hope I get that chance like in the next year or 2. I hope it comes back and I can find out. But
I mean, I've seen the graph. I don't think the game's passed you by.
Yeah, but that's. I think that graph was from Sportsbook and Black Chip, where like Sportsbook, the competition is very, very weak, man. And I don't know. Maybe not. I shouldn't say the game's bad. I don't know. I think I can win. Pretty sure. Then again, I thought I could beat you at basketball until we started talking more. And now I'm not so sure. So I don't know.
You know, the thing about basketball is height matters so much. Like, especially in one-on-one, like height matters so much because. In reality, if you're 5'11", you're not going to block my shot very often. Like it's just
a problem. I'm worried about. Would you try and back me down, or what would be your strategy? Or I see you as like a slasher, right?
Okay, well we're going to go through. We're going to start from the top. Okay, I'm white. So what can white people do well?
Shoot, obviously.
White people can shoot really well.
Yeah.
And I have very effective like one dribble moves to the left and to the right, both sides. I'm very good with both hands. I can finish with the left and the right around the hoop. I have like
I have the dribble then pull up. That's your game.
Not really. I have a really good effective off the left hand one dribble pull up.
Okay.
And my footwork's really good. That's what I'm working on right now. But I'm really good at just shooting and getting wide open shots basically, but just out of the moves because I practice pretty much everything. Yeah. But I have my Dirk Nowitzki move.
Can you dunk?
I can't dunk. Come on, I'm not black.
Okay. You're 6'2" and you're pretty.
I'm 30, man. I can't dunk. What are you talking about? I can't dunk. Well, I mean, maybe now I can't dunk. I can jump, but I can't dunk, though.
Okay.
I feel like whenever I get off the ground, like I'm scared I'm gonna break my ACL or like I fall, I'm gonna fall like the wrong way and stuff. I just want to not get hurt now.
I know that, dude. That it's funny you say that because I get invited to play basketball by my old college roommate. Played D1 basketball where I went to school for a couple of years, like 10 years ago. But we live in the same town now, and so he's always inviting me to play basketball. And it's like, dude, he's 6'5". You know, he's a big guy, and he's really good, and he's athletic, and like his friends are the same way, dude. They played, and so like for me to go play in these games, dude, I'm probably just gonna get hurt. It's not worth it, you know. So it's like I just feel like kind of a little chicken shit, but I never really. I'm always like making an excuse, like, oh man, I got to do this maybe next time, you know. And I'll try and build myself up to go play, but I'm like, I'm worried about getting hurt, you know, like then I can't lift or I can't do anything for like a couple of months.
Right, exactly. That sort of was my like during Vegas this summer. A lot of guys like Raptor, Benefield, he kept like saying, come play ball. But I'm like, there's some good players. I'm gonna get hurt. Like I'm gonna hurt myself. I don't want to. I'm trying to enjoy Vegas. I want to go out every night. I want to drink. I want to have fun. I want to play chess. Like I don't want to get hurt with playing with these crazy people playing basketball that are all intense, like life or death over there.
Right, man. Yeah, I understand.
So, okay, I'm gonna give you a question. I got to go to the bathroom. I drank a lot of water today from the gym, and I have my 3 water balls right in front of me here. So I got a drink throughout here. And all right, let me find a question up here in the chat. We have some good Twitch comments, man. A lot of people on Twitch showing a lot of love. Say a very GTO guest. Definitely showing a lot of love to you, man. I see my girl Blair out there, my Twitch girlfriend. What's up, Blair? You ever had a Twitch? You ever imagine you can get a Twitch girlfriend? I
was gonna ask, how's that work? What do you guys? I mean, I guess I can imagine, but
she's my Twitch girlfriend. Yeah, it works probably just how you imagine it works.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So give me a good Viffer story. Give me a couple of Viffer stories, and then I'm gonna go use the facility right now. Okay.
Gotcha, man. I mean, my favorite Viffer story is just how we met.
Here too. I'm gonna put it up here.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, my favorite Viffer story is just how we met. At the time, 3-6 no limit was like the biggest games on Stars, and so I was trying to get to that level. I think I was playing a lot of 1-2 and 2-4, and we're talking this is like 10, 11 years ago, maybe. Man, it seems like a long time ago. But Viffer was one of the better players then, and so I used to like sort of watch him play and sort of get advice on AOL Instant Messenger, and we kind of chatted up a little bit. And then like Stars opened some bigger games. They went up to 510 and then all the way up to like 200, 400. And I remember when that happened, Viffer wanted to play those games, obviously, and he, for whatever reason, didn't have a ton of money on Stars. And so he asked him if I would send him, I think it was 25 grand. I sent Viffer 25,000 on Poker Stars, and we had never met like in real person, in real life. And so I sent him 25,000 because I was going to go to Vegas like a couple weeks later, and I was going to meet him, and he's going to give me Bellagio chips. And so I've never met him, but I sent him this money, and I'm sure everybody here knows what Viffer looks like, but I didn't at the time. This is before like high stakes. This is before anybody knows what he looks like. So I show up to Bellagio. I've been talking to him, whatever. Hey man, I'm here. He's like, okay, dude. Go to the front door and just send me a text. So I do. I hear nothing from him. I wait 10 minutes. I'm texting him again. I hear nothing from him. I call him. I'm like, fuck, man. I sent this guy 25,000 now. Like. Even back then, Viffer was like one of the most trusted. Like everybody would say, like Viffer's you can trust him with anything,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really worried about that. But then finally, I just like text him like, dude, it's been a half an hour, and like I'm just gonna go back to my hotel because like I'll catch you later. Like I don't want to stand here, And so as I start to leave, all of a sudden this big guy like walks up behind me and pushes me, and he's like, he says, this is a quote, "You motherfucker, I knew I would find you." And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, hey, man, you have the wrong guy. Like, I don't know who you're. And he goes, dude, I would recognize you from anywhere. You're that guy from Atlantic City. You owe me money. He's like, you've been dodging me all these years. Like, I found you. And like, now you're going to pay. He's like getting in my face. And I'm like, dude, please, man. Like, you have the wrong guy. Like, I'm Tyler, like, please believe me, And this goes on for like a couple minutes where he's like, well, I'm going to get you all this stuff. And so like, finally, after a couple minutes, he just says like, hey man, I'm Viffer. I'm just kidding. And I was like, holy shit. He totally punked me, like worse than I had ever been punked in my entire life, And then he just hands me like the chips, like it's no big deal. And like kind of talk for a few minutes after that or whatever. But it's like such a classic, like I'd say Viffer's just like a social genius, man. He just always does kind of like the right thing. Or I'm like, I don't know. It was really funny, man, the way he just sort of punked me completely,
And then soon after that, he introduced you to your first wife, and then that was it, huh?
Like a week later, man, we all went out, and like this is the kind of guy Viffer is, man. Even just it was doing me a favor to like sort of I could cash out on Stars and get chips for it and money, But he as doing him a favor, he's like, I'm gonna take you guys out, like bring a few of your buddies, and so we went to like I think we went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and he's ordering everything you can imagine, you know. And then we go to, I think we went to Tris nightclub. We go all out with Viffer, of course, you know. And like he's paying for everything, just for all, like, me and a few of my friends, just to like kind of go out. And so I had picked up this girl a couple nights before, and then that's what she got used to, you know, unfortunately. So I fault Viffer very much for that, you know.
Yeah, those.
He was a guest to my first wedding, actually, man. I invited him. He was, because it was in Vegas, and he was gonna come. And then, like, probably an hour before the wedding, I get a text from Viffer that said, "I've been playing for like 5 straight days. I'm too tired." I've already like paid the money for him to be at the wedding or whatnot. He says, "I've been playing 5 straight days. I'm too tired." But then he says, "Go to Encore nightclub after. Like, I have a table for you guys there or something." I was like, dude, it doesn't work that way. You know, you don't go to a nightclub on your
you don't, after a wedding, you don't go to a nightclub and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go party tonight. Like, this is my night."
Yeah. So
yeah, there have been some such great Viffer stories on the podcast. Like by Alexis told a couple of really good Viffer stories. Can you give us one more good Viffer story for the podcast?
Yeah, okay. So XS nightclub, you ever been to XS?
Been to XS, a little crowded there, a little crowded in that place for sure.
It's not if you go with Viffer, man. I'll say that, because we went opening night with Viffer. It was New Year's Eve. This is maybe 2009. I don't know. You have to Google it. Maybe 2009, 2010. I don't know, somewhere around there. So he invites me and a few friends out to opening night there. And dude, this is like a freaking who's who of high stakes poker. I feel like such a scrub when I'm there, because it's like Antonio Esfandiari, Viffer, like just all these dudes, and then like, you know, I'm there as well. And so Viffer, dude, we go out to dinner, and Viffer's deal was, if you guys play credit card roulette for dinner, I will cover the entire nightclub. That was his deal with like everybody else. And so it's obviously a great deal, you know. So we're eating dinner, and the bill comes, dude. And I believe the bill was $4,200 without tip for like, you know, however many of us. There's a big group. So we're doing the credit card roulette, and it's getting pulled out, man. And like, at this time, man, I'm playing 1-2 full ring on stars. So like losing a $4,200 plus I have to tip, like that's a big deal, you know. That sucks. You know. So
like take like 1 day to make it back for a kid like you, but yeah, it sucks. I agree.
1-2, man. And so it gets down to the final 2. It's me and Hazards. You know, Hazards,
another old school guy right there. Played a little PLO too.
I think he got 4th in the World Series the year after that. So it gets down to us 2, and I'm begging him, man.
Oh, that's Matt Giannetti, right?
Yeah, Matt Giannetti. Yeah.
He got me to stop taking Adderall, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you that story after. Go ahead. Keep going.
Really nice guy. So when it gets down to the 2 of us, I'm begging him, dude. I'm like, dude, like, you kill 200, 400. Like, I kill 1-2. Like, can we chop this up, man? You know, like, let's chop it up. I'll even take a little minus CV. Let's chop it up. And like, Viffer just calls me out, and he's like, look, man, I'm gonna go spend like $30,000 at this club. You know, like you're gonna do this. You know, he just like puts me in my place, and like, you're going to do this. And so, thank God, man, they pulled the credit card, and it wasn't me. Giannetti had to pay. But then, I'm kind of backtracking. But the best part of this story is we all show up that night, and Viffer's girl is like, I think she was a waitress at the Wynn. She's a really pretty girl, man. But Viffer, he doesn't like the dress she's wearing, dude. So she shows up in this dress, and everybody's saying like, "Oh, you look nice," and everybody's just greeting everyone like everyone does. And Viffer doesn't look happy, and all of a sudden he goes, like, I forget her name. I think Erica was her name. He's like, "Erica, go buy a new dress." And like, everyone thinks that he's joking, you know?
Right, yeah.
He reaches in his pocket, and he points to the Encore store, and he's like, "I don't really like your dress. Like, just go buy a new dress," you know? And so he just walks with her over there to like buy a new dress, you know? And it's just, I don't know, man. I feel like it's Viffer's world. Everybody's just living in it, you know? It's just, he's just like a larger than life kind of guy, you know, that, I don't know. I'm happy that I got the chance to know him, that I was like part of that old school kind of glory days on stars where I got the chance to know him, because I had some pretty epic nights out because of him, for sure.
Do you still talk with Viffer right now? Are you guys communicating on Facebook or on any sort of chat or anything like that?
I mean, 2012, I saw him at the series, and we grabbed a bite to eat together. He was waiting for a 1,000, 2,000 seat at Aria. I was playing 10-20, and we just chatted up for a little bit, and then I sent him a congratulations when he got engaged, just via Facebook or whatever. But now we're not. Last couple of years, I mean, I saw on Facebook just a few days ago, he's like touring the country in an RV with a bunch of dune buggies with his girl and his dog. And I mean, dude, he did it smart, man. He made a ton of money. He got out when it was a good time to get out. And like, as crazy as people think Viffer is, and as crazy as he actually is, like, he's a smart guy. You know what I mean? I think he's a really smart guy. And so, yeah, I haven't had much correspondence lately. I did actually shoot him a text one night when I was drunk in Chicago saying like, "Hey man, I have a great pad in Chicago. Please come party," you know? But I think I heard back from him something like, "Sorry you got divorced." that was like his message.
Sorry, you got divorced.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility for that divorce, puppy. I take full responsibility for that divorce. What's up, Wim Roseboom on YouTube? What's up, puppy? Let me see what we got in the chat here. We got a lot of people on Twitch, a lot of comments on Twitch. I feel like I've been dual streaming these on YouTube and on Twitch, so like more conversations on Twitch, and it's like, but everything posts on YouTube. So I gotta show love to both of my places here, man. I love YouTube. PHP Alpha says, "Hola, puppy. I've been a stalker for a long time now, checking out recordings, but never caught you live. Big up." Shout out to the stalkers, by the way. I know someone out there watches me. Probably they consider themselves a stalker. Just say what's up. Let me know you stalk me, man. You don't gotta hide it. I love stalkers, man. Hey, listen, as long as you don't kill me or rape me, like I said, I like stalkers. They're fine. So show me some love. Say what's up. Give me a hello. I don't mind, man. I don't mind at all. You ever deal with any stalkers, TY? Why do I call you TY? I don't understand. Like, you're fucking TY Romper, but I call you TY. I don't even know why.
You always call me TY Romper. I don't know, man. Even from the beginning. No, I wouldn't say stalkers. I'd say I had a couple girls that probably got a little too attached in Chicago. My first 6 months when I was there, that did some things that I would consider a little stalkerish. But
like what name one thing? I got some stories too, but let's hear what's a good one.
Just like see that I was tagged somewhere on Facebook, like at the beach, like playing volleyball with friends, and then all of a sudden, like, dude, there's randomly at the beach too. Like that's a weird coincidence in a city of like 5 million. That you would just happen to be at the same exact spot, the same. Like a couple things like that. I thought were kind of weird, but yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary, man. No. Actually, man, back in the day. Back when like 3-6 no limit was the biggest game on PokerStars, I had some weird people that would like 1, 2, 3 Shanks comes to mind, dude. He was this guy that would always email me like just the weirdest stuff, man, about how his family was he was like addicted to poker. He was losing so much, and like he saw that I was a winning player, and he would pay me whatever or do whatever to like just a weird guy, man. He added me on AIM and Facebook, and I had to block him. It was a weird experience, man. Steve will remember him. Steve Jones will remember him. 1, 2, 3 Shanks. He's a weird guy, man.
You ever met any women at the full ring tables on PokerStars?
On PokerStars?
Okay, let's not. Okay, anywhere.
I thought you meant full ring like live.
Well, have you met any women at full ring live before?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I'm a friendly person. When I play live, I admit, Well, I don't know what you're getting at here, man. Have I?
I was going somewhere else with the question, but now, hold on a second. What do you mean? You met him at 510 Live or something like that? Is that a place to pick up women, you think, for live players out there?
No, I had one experience right after I was divorced where Jordan will know this story very well. Where
Jordan's got some stories.
Yeah, where I don't want to get into it too much out of respect for my wife, but there's a lady who was in the adult industry who we saw playing.
No, let's not tell the story. Let's just stop the fucking story now.
So we sat by her and did a bunch of tequila shots and that, like chatted her up. So I mean, that's one story.
That's such a fucking epic story, honest to God. Honest to God. That was the reason why I said let's go to Vegas. That was one of the reasons why. That story.
Yeah, that was those were different days in my life, man. Now I'm waking up at 3 a.m. like rocking my daughter to sleep and telling her, like, warning her, you better never be like this,
Ay, puppy. My point was I was actually playing, I remember I was playing some 3-6 full ring NL on Stars, and I met this French-Canadian woman. And we met, we started talking. I was like, this is weird. And she was really bad, of course. And, we ended up, it was fun. Like, I didn't actually think you could meet a woman on PokerStars full ring tables. It was extremely weird. So
I didn't know of any girls I played with when I played. Like, nobody ever said. I mean, anybody who came out and said like I'm a girl, I probably assumed was lying. Like I didn't know of any. And even live, it's probably like there's like Vanessa Selps back in the day. I actually used to play with her a lot. Vanessa Selps was Suck Out Queen back on Stars back in the day, and I mean she's really good now, just an incredible player. But back then I thought she was a huge fish. At 3-6 no limit, when 3-6 was the biggest game, she used to min buy a lot for 120 and play me heads up. I remember back in the day. Yeah, I guess that's the only female I've ever been aware of.
Okay, I want to tell the Adderall story about Matt Giannetti. So I was playing 5-10-20 with him this summer at Aria for PLO, and he was sitting next to me. He seemed like he was one of the good players in the game. He was 3-betting a lot. He was calling a lot in position. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll watch out for this guy at the tables. And I didn't really recognize him from anything. Then we started talking, and then someone at the table was like, oh, don't I recognize you from somewhere? And then he was like, oh yeah, I went deep in the main event. I was like, oh shit, okay, that's where I recognize you from. So we started talking about like live poker, and somehow we got into about Adderall, and he was like, yeah, I just got off Adderall, because he had a real Adderall look to him when he plays. Like, I think he's still probably on Adderall. But something he said to me, and I was really thinking about this too, was I really want to stop taking Adderall, because I thought it was just doing some weird shit to me. I thought I was becoming too dependent on it. Whenever I didn't take Adderall, it was my excuse that, oh, you know, this is why I'm not being productive today. This is why I'm not doing well today, because I'm not on Adderall. And something he said to me was like, dude, if you can stop taking it, stop taking it now. I was like, fuck, man, this is like speaking to me, because it was like sort of unsolicited where he said that to me. I didn't necessarily talk about me taking it. I just said I've taken it a couple times. I didn't necessarily tell him like how I was feeling about it at the time. And he's like, dude, I've been out for a couple months now. He's like, if you can stop taking it, just stop taking it. Like it was one of the best decisions I made. So ever since then, I literally been taking Adderall since that day. And I got to credit Matt. It was because Matt told me, I was definitely leaning towards that way. But
how long ago was that? How long have you been on?
That was in July. That was the middle of July.
Okay. So yeah. And you're happy with the decision? Completely happy with it?
You know, some days when I'm not being that ultra productiveness that Adderall sometimes gives you, you know, I sort of want to take it, but you know, I feel like I used to be extremely motivated. I used to be extremely hardworking before Adderall, and it can come back. It's not like and it's definitely starting to come back too. So.
Good, man. I agree with Lex a lot. Your podcast a few days ago with Lex, how he said like it sort of becomes a crutch. You know what I mean? Like
100%, yeah.
Days I didn't take it when I would go play live, I would honestly have in the back of my head like, well, I'll just play tighter today and like try and grind out a small win, because like I'm not going to be A-gaming, you know. So like and like shit like that, it just doesn't belong in your head, you know. So
exactly.
I felt like it was a huge crutch, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think even like Lex said he was taking Checkio or something like that. I feel like even something like that sort of becomes a crutch. I feel like coffee's probably a crutch for a lot of people too, because so many people drink coffee. And I've had coffee only a couple times, maybe like 10 times. And I can understand that's got to be like the most addicted drug in the world, because everyone drinks coffee, but no one thinks of it as a drug. But at the same time, if you need coffee to function in the morning, or if you need coffee to function, that seems like the definition of a drug.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, something else probably needs to change in your life. You know what I mean? You probably need to go to bed an hour earlier. You probably need to, you know, I don't know, do something a little different if you can't get out of bed and like chug a pot of coffee. You know?
Mm-hmm. I've never heard anyone like say that though. Like coffee could be a bad thing. Like coffee could be.
It's probably because like you know, Maxwell House spends like, you know, $20 million a year making sure you don't think that. You know, those people are smart, man. They want to push their product.
So what do you do now? Do you drink coffee now? Do you drink? What do you have for that?
I probably get Starbucks once a month as like a treat, man, you know, but maybe not even that much. I can't remember the last time. And with my daughter now, I'm a little more tired, man. I mean, my wife is amazing and she takes the night shift a lot, but like I still don't get as much sleep as I would like. I'm probably right now on the last 3 nights, I haven't gotten over 5.5, 6 hours of sleep, you know, and so that catches up. But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I have a lot of energy naturally. I don't know. It's like when I'm working out and when I'm running and when I'm eating healthy, like, biggest thing for me is like just not eating shit food, man. I don't know. And like it really helps with Annie having a PhD in nutrition. I can ask her.
Oh, yes. You told me about that. Yeah. Yeah.
She makes healthy food that tastes really good. You know, like, dude, we probably eat, I would say we eat 6 to 7 vegetables per day, servings of vegetables per day, because she puts it in everything, you know, like we're eating really good food. And I feel like that gives you a lot more energy, you know, like as opposed to like, I see some people around here who are like, eating 2 donuts in the morning to like give them a little energy, and then of course they're crashing later, and then they have to chug a coffee midday, and like of course they're crashing later. Whereas like if you just eat a pretty healthy, balanced, like, you know, it's sort of takes care of itself, I think, you know. I
love how you can say, like some people say like just eat a healthy, balanced lifestyle. You're like, I don't know what the fuck that means, dude. Like that's what sort of what some people tell me that all the time. They're like healthy, balanced dinner meals. I'm like, I mean, that sounds easy in theory, but like, it's so hard. I think I eat a lot better now. I eat a lot of chicken, Sam. I eat all like the standard things that everyone says in the book and the DVD, you know, that God, oh my God, that just brought back my favorite saying at live poker. Holy fuck, dude. Okay. So I used to play live 1-2, right? Back in the day. This is back in the day. This is literally like 9 years ago when I was 21 years old. Me and my friend Arnab used to go to the Majestic Star and the Horseshoe and play live 1-2. And we'd always go spend the night at his house, and I'd sleep on his floor, and we'd watch this DVD on television that was like breaking down poker, like pre-flop raises and stuff like that.
Who made this video?
I don't fucking know, man.
This is amazing,
DVD. I call it the DVD. So when I'd go play live 1-2, some of my lines would always be, oh man, the DVD says I got to fold here, but I just can't do it. And like, I'd always reference the DVD, and the people at the table are like, what's this fucking DVD? I was like, he's like, what's the name of the DVD? I'm like, the name of the DVD is the DVD. Like, it's the DVD on poker, man. And people were like, you serious? I'm like, yeah, man, the DVD says I got to fold here. And people, it used to be just one of my go-to lines. God, I had so many go-to lines at live poker. Like, oh my God, I used to love, I was so bad. I was such a fish, but oh, the DVD, I got to write this one down, man. I got to bring this one back. Oh my God, the fucking DVD.
You need to really find out who the author was and like watch that again or bring that on the podcast sometime. Like just show a 5-minute clip from it. Because I bet it's hilarious, man.
I think it was.
Books were just, they're great, man.
I used to sleep on the floor, in his floor. Is it freaking out here? What's happening here? Yeah, this Indian kid, my Indian friend Arnab. We used to lose all our money at one tour. Sometimes one of us would win. We go to Steak and Shake. We get like at 6 a.m. We get like a burger and some fries and a milkshake. And I'd go sleep on his floor, and we go back to the casino the next day and play 1-2. And this seems so normal to me, but in retrospect, it was probably very un-GTO. Thinking about it, my starting days, there's probably a lot of people out there that can relate to this feeling though. Like they go to the casino with their friend, they lose all their money, and then they go home.
Were you a losing player back then? Like, were you a for sure losing player?
Yes. 100%. I had a job, and what was my job? My job was I'm trying to think what's freaking out here. Is it this monitor? What the fuck is freaking out on this computer? Yeah, I think I was definitely a losing player. I worked at TGI Fridays. I worked at downtown Chicago as a server, and I'd go work. I'd go to the casino. I'd win sometimes, obviously. I remember the first time I had $1,500. I took a photo, put it on Facebook. I had like hundreds in my hand. I had them spread out on the table. My face is like here at the table. I'm like taking a photo. Like, take a picture, man. I got $1,500 here.
Get the big green chips in there. Get the green chips,
Oh, man. We went to the strip club, man. We balled out, man. We got some lap dances, picked up some strippers, man. 21, 22 years old, man. You're the king of the world. You got $1,500, man. I mean, God, dude. Those are how times change, huh?
Yeah, it is funny, man. It's funny now that like I've sort of transitioned out of the mainstream of poker too, because like those stories that you're telling me right now are super normal to me too. Probably when I was in poker and alive, like a professional, 90% of my friends were also poker professionals. And so I just sort of thought that stuff was normal, And as I've like the last couple of years sort of branched out, and it's probably closer to 50-50 now, like my poker friends and non-poker friends, like that stuff is not normal, man. Like, some of the things we do and some of the things like I'll start to tell a story and it's like, yeah, so, I had like a $15,000 stop loss. And so I didn't want to go over that, and they're like, wait, what? And then you just like, you start telling these stories where you're like, and then we were at the club like the third straight night and like, then we ended up in like Puerto Vallarta and we didn't know how we got there, just like these stories aren't like super normal, to most people. But like, I feel like sort of in our community, it's like, you just give a head nod and it's pretty normal,
I think it was maybe normal for old school people. Like some of the new school guys, like it might not be like, you don't have these degens anymore. Like, when we were doing, like, we're degens. We're fucking like.
That's true. Yeah. Back then it was just so easy too, man.
I think that's what it was. Like you could be a degen because it was so easy to make money at online poker.
I ran it, and like people don't believe me now, but like I ran it at like 185, 190 an hour for almost 2 straight years. Like at 246 max mainly, like 185, 190 an hour, just like 12 tabling. Hey baby. I don't know.
Have her come say hello. Come on in.
Everybody asked me, and she just popped her head in naked just to say hi.
Wait.
It's our date night, man. So she's probably telling me like I should probably, I have 15, 20 minutes to go. She literally just popped in naked. It's, just to say hello. I'm not gonna stream the camera over there, man. But
now you might be surprised about this, but we've actually recently had naked women on the live stream. They
really. I'm a fan of the show, man, and I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, people in the chat said, stop moving your head so much you lag. Yeah, I think I've been reading about webcam GTO. So when you have a bad quality webcam, the more you move around like this, the worse the quality becomes.
I'm such a hyperactive person. It's really hard for me to sit still, man. Like I'm always like tapping my fingers or like doing something, so that I don't know. I'll really work on it. I'll focus really hard on that, but it's really hard.
Okay, guys, we'll take a couple questions from the YouTube chat, from the Twitch chat. If you guys have any questions for Tyromper, and then we're gonna let him get on with his date night. He's got an exciting date planned ahead with his wife. They're gonna cook some food, drink some margaritas, drink some coronas, eat some quesadillas.
There we go, man.
Go on the kayak. Let's see if we got some comments up in here.
Hey, by the way, man, you need to come down and hang out with me for a couple days down here, man. We'll put in a grind session. We'll take the kayak out for a couple hours on the lake. We'll get a workout in. We'll play some basketball. You know.
I got a confession. I can't swim.
Dude, we'll put a life jacket on you. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of life jackets here, man. I mean,
okay.
we make fun of the people that we have to put them on, but don't worry about it. And also, my wife, she was a lifeguard for a while, so she'll save you.
Who was a lifeguard for a while?
She was like
what the fuck, man?
She's a competitive.
She's like everything. She's started a nonprofit, works with kids, PhD in nutrition, literally knows everything. It sounds like.
I told you, man. Like I wanted to be single for longer. And it just, you know.
Yeah.
When it happens, man.
Cicada says, "Sup, Joey? Tell a stalker story. I'll tell one next time." Melike H88. What's up, Hans? Hans posted a photo today on Twitter of him in the lab. I got to retweet that out. What's up? What's up, Hans? Noise King, puppy. What's up, man? What up? What up? What up, puppy? Let's see. Let me go to some other comments here. Fresh Air says, I'm prescribed Dexedrine, but lately I don't feel it at all. Any tips, puppy? I don't know what Dexedrine is. I'm sorry, puppy. I can imagine what it is, though. Let me see. Let me go up. Let me go back down to the comments here. What's up, Blair? Ask the porn GTO question. I'm not asking Tyler the porn GTO question. Come on. Does Tyler have a favorite book?
Yeah, man. I'm actually, well, I don't know. Right now, I've read everything John Wooden's ever wrote, man. And his books are not hard to read. I was huge. Like,
books are not hard to read. No, okay.
They're like, it's not like novels, and like he has these things called maxims for life. And so it's just like little, I only have one tattoo. It's on my shoulder, and it's make each day your masterpiece. That's like a quote from John Wooden. And he just has like all these maxims for life, you know? And so John Wooden's probably my all-time favorite author. It's like a book that I reread pretty often, just sort of if I'm feeling down, man. It's sort of a book that like puts things in perspective. So I'm a huge John Wooden fan, man. I'll throw the Bible out there. I read the Bible. I think it's got some pretty good info. You know, I'm a Proverbs kind of guy. It's got some good info for life. You know.
Mm-hmm. Is your wife an author? Piranha asks.
Is she an author? She has a published blog that's had like over 20,000 hits. It's on the website.
Or she's an author. Why wouldn't she be an author? What's the name of the blog, puppy?
Well, it's on ifightpoverty.org.
Okay.
And I believe there's just a blog link to it. But yeah, you can read like all of her stories that she started from the past, you know, goes back like 7 years. And that's how I kind of fell in love with the organization, was just reading like firsthand stories. I hadn't even met her, but like.
It kind of sounds like you were a stalker before you met her, puppy.
Yeah. I mean, it just so happens like we're from the same hometown, and like.
Let me go back to the story. Hold on a second.
I have to ban my wife from this podcast, man, because she's gonna learn my secrets, you know. Like,
I feel like we're missing something right now. Wait a second. So you said you started reading. Your friend told you about the blog. Told you about the site, the charity. You started reading the charity. You started reading her blog and saw her photo, and we're like, she's sexy. Then you hit her up on Facebook, and we're like, let's grab some dinner after you're at this thing, or got some lunch.
No, I didn't do dinner. That would not be GTO, because that puts a very pressure-ish thing. I did lunch.
Chess GTO, guys, pick it up. We got some finally from them. Okay.
Lunch is very GTO for the first meeting. It's very casual. You know what I mean? It's just, there's no pressure at lunch. You know, you're just eating a salad and hanging out. You know, no big deal. So yeah, we went to lunch, and
write this down, boys.
You kind of see if anything's there. Man, I was pretty smitten with her right away, not gonna lie. And then basically we hung out like the first day or two. We just hung out while she was in Chicago. And then she told me like in a couple weeks she was going home to like see her parents. And like I said, we're from the same hometown, so I just told her like it just so happened that I had to go home that weekend.
Oh, of course, I go home that way. Okay.
We're both gonna be at home.
Sneaky motherfucker, T.Y. Romper here, man. Okay.
Home, let's just hang out a little bit. So we ended up having like 4 dates in 4 days, man. And then after that, man, I was pretty much done, dude. I actually, like, after our second date, I texted a couple of the gals I was seeing in Chicago, and that were casual, you know. And I just said, hey, I you know, thanks, but it's, you know, good luck to you. Kind of, I can't do it. You know, I think I found somebody pretty special, and I never looked back, man. She's a great one, dude.
Wow. So you sent the other ones to the showers, huh?
Yeah. You know. Just a couple like girls, you know what I mean? Just casual girls you grab dinner with, and like, you know, things like that. Nothing serious.
Okay. Oh, Zesty. What up, Aiden Sparkles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a weird fucking name on YouTube, but I like your name. What's up, puppy? My boy TJ. Oh, what's up, Teach? Nice seeing you, Teach. Nice seeing you as always, man. Melike says, I think is the best advice on dating I've ever heard, because dinner always a good bit of pressure. Nice one, sir.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing, man. Dinner is way more expensive, man. To be honest, our second date, we grabbed a cup of coffee and took a 2-hour walk. You know what I mean? And so, like, if you have a date like that, like when I was first single in Chicago, I would take girls to dinner, and dude, I'd realize like I'm spending $100, man. And like sometimes 5 minutes in, I knew I didn't like the girl, but I'm still spending $100, you know? And so like, I feel like if you grab a coffee and you take a walk, or you just grab a quick lunch, like, dude, you can realize there's nothing there within 20 minutes and you're gone, you know?
I think it really depends on what your goals for the date are, because let's say, I mean, some guys have different goals. Some guys want to find a girl that they want to hang out with, that they click with, that they spend some time with. Some guys are just trying to, you know, maybe do a hit that, quit that, or something like that, you know, to put it, you know, shout out to all the women out there. I'm sorry, you know, we got to talk like this around here. It's a 97% male podcast. If you're 3% women out there, you know, sometimes this is just what we talk about around here. And I understand we're not going to get more women talking about things like this, but this is like what happens sometimes. So some guy, I had to do a disclaimer there first. So sometimes you might, your goals might be different. Maybe you want to meet a nice woman that's attracted to you, that you're just attracted to, that you might want to take back. In that situation, dinner almost becomes GTO, because you get a little cup of margaritas. She gets a glass of wine, a couple glasses of wine. You maybe take it to your favorite bar afterwards, take her back to your spot. You know, it really depends on sort of what your goals are. But it sounds like when you were in the city, you're looking for that, you know, you're looking for that mentality connection. You didn't want to spend $100 to find that mental connection with somebody.
Yeah, this is after the first 6 months, man. The first 6 months I was there, I was on the warpath, man. I'd been married for 3 years, so you know, yeah. Then I sort of decided, you know, I was ready to sort of move on to something better. So yeah, I totally agree with you in that sense, man.
The warpath, I love that. The warpath. Huh?
You know, men are hunters, dude. We're hunters. That's what we're made to do. You know.
Mm-hmm. How are the guys in Africa? Are they hunters in there too?
I mean, dude, people are people. You know what I mean? And that was like my biggest surprise.
People. Adrian Phoenix trademark saying. I agree.
You know, when I went there, I thought it would be like this whole barrier and it'd be tough to communicate and things like that. And like, even though there's like a language barrier there, like, you know, I've been for 8 weeks now, and I think I only know 5 words. Swahili is like the hardest language in the world, man. But some of them can speak really good English, especially when they start getting into school, like English is taught. So you can communicate somewhat, but even some of the kids I couldn't communicate with, like I said, that you give me like a ball and like 20 kids and we can have a great day. You know what I mean? Like I can invent a game that they'll understand and we'll have like a great day. So like, I feel like people are people, man, you know?
People are people. Amen, man. Hey, I almost that's like a perfect note to end it on right there. Mr. Daffy says, Joey, you're the best. Keep your stuff going, Poppy. Oh, much love.
Dude, you are, man. But, you know, before I go, I want to say, dude, I used to try and fall asleep to your podcast, and I can't, dude. They're so good. They're so engaging. So now I usually fall asleep to Phil Galfon's Run It Once videos because his voice is incredible. I know other people have talked about that, but he literally has the most soothing voice in the entire world. So that's why I do. But I listen to your podcast a lot, even when I'm out like for a jog or just like, you know, it's motivating, man. I like them. I love them. So keep doing what you're doing, man. And I'm very humbled to be a small part and to be a guest, man. So thanks.
Well, much love, Poppy. You know, I fell asleep to Phil Galfon last night either, but I think I got a little too much energy to fall asleep to. I'm hyped up. I'm like talking loud. I'm, you know, running and gunning sort of thing like that. So I'm not the best, like, and plus you said a lot of what the guests say some great shit on here. Like, I mean,
you have some incredible guests, man. You really, I mean, the LaForte, like I have those saved, and like I've since like YouTube some of his fitness stuff, and like I have learned an incredible amount from that. You know, it's pretty cool. Like, you know, Jason Kuhn, obviously some other one. Like, there's just so many people on there that like, I don't know, it's incredible, man. It's cool. You got a great thing going, man. I think a ton of people enjoy it. I think you're gonna get bigger and bigger, man. It's cool.
We'll see what happens, man. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap things up here on YouTube, on Twitch. We'll be back Monday on YouTube with Jessica Dolly. She's she plays live high stakes cash, 5'10", 10-20. She's awesome. She's formerly in the military, Air Force. And also Timex next week. And then we'll have Luke Shorts, Full Flush. I don't know if he's ever done something like he's going to be doing on the podcast next Friday. He's a fucking legend in poker. He's wearing yellow. He's got the jiggies on, you know, whatever. And
before we go, Joey, how about we get a date down here in the next few months for a one-on-one basketball game, and the loser does $500 to charity. Like, if you lose, you have to go $500 to Annie's charity. If I lose, you can pick a charity.
$500 for fuck's sake.
Let's do 100. We'll do 100. We'll do $100.
How rich are you? $500. You must have confidence you're not going to lose.
We'll make it a friendly bet, man. I think that'd be something fun that, you know, because that motivates me. To be honest, we've been talking about it the last couple of days, and I've had better workouts. Like, even, you know, like thinking about it today. Like, it makes me want to get faster. It makes me want to be able to do something.
Oh my God, I'm motivating this kid right here. All right, I'm in. Let's do it. Fine, let's do it.
$20 booked. We'll get a date down. You know, next time I'm up in Chicago.
All right. We can do either here. I can come down there, or we can do it down up here. We'll figure out a time to get it done.
Down here, I'll make sure my wife's ready to protect you because we're by the lake. So if you fall in, she'll save you. Don't worry.
All right, man. That's I'm in. All right, kid.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna wrap it officially here, guys. Much love. Thanks for tuning in. Adios. Con la música, la morosita. Take it easy, guys. Adios.